Hey, how would you kind of compare and contrast this team scoring offense to maybe some of your other, really good offensive teams, like maybe 2012 to 2014, just in the way they get it done? Are there differences that are kind of unique to this team?
I just think the number of guys that can really score the basketball. We have at any given time 4 at the minimum, and sometimes 5 guys that can lead us in scoring on the floor, and that hasn't always been the case.
Point guard's different in a lot of your teams. A lot of those teams we knew it was going to be, Malcolm or Fred or Clevin. This is more kind of a mix and match. How's that changed the way that the offense operates, or how you approach it?
It really hasn't changed the way I approach it. I guess guys, playing 20 or so minutes, whatever Deshaun and Connor and Austin are playing, it keeps them fresh as opposed to playing 32 or 34 minutes a game. But I also think that at any given time, even with Landry at the 2 or Austin at the 2 or Connor at the 2, you've got 2 point guards out there that are 2 point guards in terms of their mentality, not just they're both bringing the ball up the court, but just in helping facilitate offense and run the team.
Rano seems to have really developed, had a really good game the other day. What are you seeing from him that's different than what you saw previous?
Well, he's stronger. We did try to redshirt him last year until the injury to Grady, and then after 5 or 6 games, he came off redshirt and helped us in the NCAA tournament in particular. Those were 2 of his better games in our wins against Vanderbilt and Arizona. He's a skill guy. He's gotten stronger. He understands our system very well. He can really move. He can change directions very well for a big guy, both on defense in terms of hedging and changing directions, and then rushing out and setting ball screens and changing directions on the offensive end. But I'm glad to see him have success because he has worked so hard, and he's been an everyday guy.
You mentioned you wanted to redshirt him last year, and the goal, I think, was to put some pounds on him while he was doing that. When you took it off, did that help him advance, to where he is, or did it hinder? What are you seeing now looking back on it?
Well, I just wish he was a sophomore instead of a junior, because we would have him 2 more years instead of 1 more year after this year. And he wouldn't be in the same class as Willis and Morris and Kelly. But he worked just as hard as a potential redshirt last year as he would have had he known he was playing the whole time. And wasn't like, if you're going to redshirt, you're not going to work out and practice. So I don't think that had any effect on him at this point. I do know that he worked really hard with Kerry and has developed his body, and he's just a great kid. So it's good to have.
Seems to be a fun-loving guy. That, smiles when he's playing. Seems to have fun. Am I reading that correctly?
I saw a couple smiles when he was putting the ball in the basket the other day against UNI. I think that was probably, you'd have to ask him, but the way I took that is he was just having fun playing. And I think one of you wrote that he was the new target of the UNI the student section right there behind our bench, or right at the end of our bench. And so when he was having success after, he was just kind of laughing and having a good time with them. I think that's all that was.
This is a pretty big week for you guys, facing 2 of the better teams in Missouri Valley. Do you feel like there's an extra pep in the team step? Heading into 2 games like this?
Well, yesterday we had a pretty light practice. There was a lot of video study, and today I'll be able to tell you more after we see them today. We had a couple of guys sick and banged up for practice yesterday, and so we told them getting off the bus Sunday evening that we were going to go light one day and heavier one day in preparation for Loyola, and then the same thing with the game on Saturday at Illinois State. So I really don't know yet about the pep in the step, but I'm certain by the end of the video session today we'll have their full and undivided attention.
Have you had a chance to talk to Landry about getting Newcomer of the Week award?
No, I really didn't. I found out yesterday. I think that's the first time we've had that this year, so don't make too big a deal out of it. I'm sure he's happy and excited, but I have not talked to him about it.
Doyle and Custer and Richardson seem to be playing really well.
Ingram.
And Ingram. What kind of challenges does that backcourt present?
They're good. They can really score it. They have that's 4 guys out there that can lead them in scoring at any given time. And then when Andre Jackson, the undersized post player, is out there, it gives them 5. So much like what we were talking about with our team. They share the basketball. They get into gaps. They kick it. They shoot a tremendous percentage, both from the field and from the 3-point line. So they're a hard guard.
At this point, do you just expect a different person to be the big contributor each game? I mean, it seems like every game there's just a new, I mean, not necessarily new, but different guys stepping up.
We don't go into the game anticipating any of that. We just, when you play any game, you're going to have a leading scorer and a leading rebounder. We just don't care who it is. I guess that's the answer to the question. It's they determine that by their play and how well they're playing, and we try to go with the hot hand. And we were able to overcome some really severe foul trouble at UNI. At the end of the first half, we had 6 guys straddled with 2 fouls. So we got contributions from a lot of different guys. Eric Hamilton, Rono Nerger, Rashard Kelly, guys that hadn't been playing quite as much, got an opportunity and helped us win the game. So that was good to see.
I know you've got the depth to overcome that foul trouble in some aspects, but are you doing anything different to help keep guys out of that trouble early on?
Well, I mean, you try to blow whistles when they have blatant fouls in practice, and you show them the fouls in video, but there's not much else you can do other than that. Just, you want them to play hard and play aggressive, but they also got to play smart. And against UNI, you can't get caught up in, with their arm wrestling and being, lowering your shoulder, because they show the blow. They do a great job of showing the blow, and they seem to get the whistle, especially at their place. So we've got to do a better job of not falling into that. And we talked about it going in, but I guess the message, Shaq had a silly foul at the foul line where he got tangled up with one of their post players. I think it was Friedman, and then Rono did the same thing, getting tangled up with Cook, and it was off the ball. It was just silly stuff, and you have to avoid that. You can't get down there and thumb wrestle or whatever you call that guys do, and it's a silly off the ball foul.